So welcome back to another video, and today it's all about the best budget boilers. Now we appreciate here at Heatable that when you're buying a new boiler, it's generally a pretty miserable experience. It's a cost that no one generally accounts for and it can catch you off guard. But there are some ways to save some money by going for a budget boiler option. Now the market is full of these, but what we've done is narrowed it down to 4 models that we're recommending and ones that we think you should consider if you're looking to get into a budget model for your new boiler. So let's jump right in and help you make the right decision for your budget boiler. Now just before we get into this video, we just want to clarify what actually is a budget boiler, because it sounds pretty obvious. The clue's in the name. It's a boiler you can buy on a budget. But what does that actually mean? Well, here in the UK, there are minimum standards that any boiler on the market needs to meet. It needs to be at least 89% efficiency in terms of its overall rating. It needs to be able to produce hot water on demand with the pressures that come into our property, and it has to be backed by a minimum of a 12-month product warranty. But the market for budget boilers is pretty vast. There's loads of different options. Now, just because you're looking at a budget boiler doesn't mean you're going to get a heap of rubbish that's going to break down every 5 minutes. It could happen with 1 or 2 of them, but all the ones in this video should have your back. Now what we're going to dive into now is the various differences between the models that we've chosen or recommending to you, our viewers. So in at number 1 in terms of order is a product by Vokera, and it's called the Synergy C. So Vokera have been around for donkey's years. They were an Italian brand, but they've recently been purchased by a massive company called Carrier, who also bought Viessmann, a really popular high-end boiler manufacturer. Now Carrier paid something like 9 billion for Viessmann. We don't know how much they paid for Vokera, but it's all forming this big portfolio they have that even includes Toshiba air conditioning. So a pretty serious brand, and they're trying to really raise the profile of these products. Now the Synergy C is a combi boiler, and it comes in 3 power outputs. It's got 25 kilowatt, it's got a 30 kilowatt, but it's even got a 35 kilowatt model. And it's got some pretty impressive feature for what is a very reasonably priced product. So some of the highlights are the fact it has a stainless steel heat exchanger. So this is the main part of the boiler where all of the heat goes in to boil the water, and it's made from stainless steel. It'll probably outlive the life of the actual boiler itself. It also has something called ACC, so it's active combustion control. So Viessmann have a version of this on their boilers, and what it does is it can read various gas types and make burner adjustments, meaning out the box the product can burn LPG, it can burn natural gas, it's hydrogen blend ready, and it can sense different gases. So if your supply changes, or you've got maybe the grid introduces hydrogen blend into the gas mix, you won't have to change your boiler. Because that burner is so advanced, it's also got a pretty impressive modulation range. Now modulation essentially just means how many power outputs are in between the minimum and maximum power rating of the product. So the Vokera Synergy has a 1:10 modulation ratio, meaning it can go down to 1/10 of its actual maximum rated power. So the 30 kilowatt model can go down to 3 kilowatt. Why this is beneficial for a homeowner is it's all about saving gas and being more efficient. So the boiler has a sensor on the flow pipe that goes out to the radiators and one on the return. If it's sending, say, like 70-degree water around the system, and it senses that the return temperature is like 20 degrees, it'll keep burning really hard. But as that return temperature starts to rise, that boiler will automatically ramp down, and it's always looking for the most efficient setting. So a 1:10 modulation range is really impressive. You usually see something on this like a Viessmann, or maybe one of the high-end Vaillants or Worcesters. You don't really get it on cheap budget boilers. Now all that impressive componentry is in a very compact box, and it's a cupboard fit boiler. It measures in at only 740 millimeters tall, 420 millimeters wide, and just 275 millimeters deep, meaning it can pretty much go anywhere. A couple of other jazzy features about this product are the actual interface itself. So the interface is touchscreen and it's a digital display. Now again, usually on a budget boiler, you just get a couple of knobs and no sort of indication. You won't be able to read any fault codes or read what the boiler's doing. Not with the Vokera, it'll tell you everything you need to know in that little display. And also their controls, so you can have any controller managing this boiler. So you can have Nest, Hive, you can have Vokera's own controller, you can have a basic controller, and it has full open compatibility. So it's not limited to manufacturer only controls, because that's sometimes what these budget boilers do, is they'll limit you to their own accessories, and those accessories are normally really expensive, but again, not with the Vokera. So as we mentioned earlier, there's various power options with this product. There's a 25 kilowatt, that'll do around 10 litres of hot water a minute. There is a 30 kilowatt model, that'll do around 12.5 litres of hot water a minute. And then we've got the 35, the big daddy, which can do about 14.5 litres of hot water a minute. What does that mean? The more powerful the boiler, the more hot water it can boil. Generally 25 or 30 kilowatt is a safe place to be. And from a radiator perspective, the entry-level model can do about 13 to 14 radiators. And on the 30, that increases to about sort of 18 radiators. And on the 35, you're getting up to 20 radiators worth of central heating power. Now, it's not all rosy with the Vokera. There are some negatives to consider. Now, the first one is the aftercare and warranty support, because they will give you, as standard, a 7-year manufacturer warranty with this product. If you have it installed through Heatable, that is a 10-year warranty. But this warranty work and this aftercare is carried out by an approved network. So someone like Worcester Bosch have their own engineers in their own vans, and their service is impeccable. Vokera, on the other hand, don't quite have that infrastructure, so they have approved service partners. What this means for you as a consumer is if your Vokera broke down, it had a fault, and you needed to have a manufacturer come out, you might be waiting 3 or 4 days in peak time and a couple of days in non-peak times. It's just something to consider, and that is really the price you pay with these budget boilers from these lesser known manufacturers. Support generally isn't there. Some other considerations about the product are the fact it's not actually made in the UK. It's a European boiler, so it's not supporting the UK economy because we buy this product in. Obviously, you've got the backing of a massive global company, but the actual production of the product is done outside of the UK. Now, if you find yourself outside of the warranty with your Vokera, then a consideration also needs to be the cost of replacement parts, because again, this is another area where these budget manufacturers make their money. They'll sell you a really affordable boiler, but if you need a part for it that's outside of the warranty, you are going to pay the price. An example of this was a previous boiler not made by Vokera, but made by a company called Biazzi. This was like a B&Q boiler that you could buy for about 500 quid. And this boiler, the parts alone, if you bought them all separately, were about £3,000. So you can see that's how they were making their money. Obviously, with this Vokera product, you are going to have a 10-year parts and labour warranty. Obviously, with a budget boiler, price is key. Now, this Vokera Synergy range starts from about £670, including VAT, for just the boiler for the 25 kilowatt model, and prices increase as you go up the power band, where you'll eventually get to about £950 for that 35 kilowatt model, but that does include VAT. Okay, on to the next one, and now it's another Italian product. It's the Alpha E Tec NX range of combi boilers. Now, Alpha is the UK brand name for a company called Imergas that are based in Italy, who are a gigantic boiler manufacturer. So there's lots of R&D gone into this product. We actually visited the Alpha factory out in Italy, and we got to see their manufacturing process and how they design their products, and it was pretty impressive. Now this boiler comes in two power ranges. You've got a 28 kilowatt model, that's the entry level one, but they also do a more powerful 33. Now with the 28 kilowatt model, you're going to get around 12 litres of hot water per minute, so that gets improved over that Vokera, and with the 33 kilowatt that rises to about 14.5 litres of hot water per minute. Both boilers are more than powerful enough to power about 20 radiators in a standard property. Now they both have a stainless steel heat exchanger, much like the Vokera. This is a very premium product for what is a budget boiler. And a little bit of a difference with the Alpha is it has more branded components on its internals. So it has a Grundfos pump. It's actually the same pump you get in a Worcester Bosch boiler, and it's got a Honeywell gas valve. Now Alpha are so confident in the reliability of this product that the standard warranty is a 10-year warranty. If you have it installed through Heatable, you actually get an extra year, and that's extended to a full 11 years for parts and for labour. It's got an efficiency rating of 89%, but its modulation ratio is 1 in 6. So that Vokera was 1 in 10. The Alpha can only divide itself by 6. So it's not quite as efficient when it's working at lower temperatures once your system is up and running. From a pricing perspective, the 28 kilowatt model comes in around £680 including VAT. And if you want to go for the slightly more powerful model, that E Tec NX 33, then that's around £750. So these are both still really affordable products, which, especially when you consider those premium internal components. So again, there are all the positives. Now let's take a look at some of those negatives. So the first one is, again, like the Vokera, this product is produced outside of the UK. Now this is something that's sort of maybe not important to you as a consumer, but for us here at Heatable, we do like to support the British economy. Now, although there's a UK base, which is Alpha headquarters down in Kent, the actual production is done outside of the UK. And again, because there's not really a massive presence in the UK as a brand, that aftercare and that warranty support is going to be much like it is with Vokera. It's done through a mix of their own in-house engineers, but they also have a large approved repair network. So again, all this means is if you find yourself in a breakdown situation, you're not going to get the speed of service of something like Worcester or Vaillant. You are going to be waiting 3 or 4 days to get an engineer out who may or may not have the parts on them. The other considerations, this is more to do with the engineer, is the piping order on the Alpha is different. So in the UK, we have a pretty standard piping arrangement. And with the Alpha, this is skewed up a little bit. So the gas is on the left, and I think it's the flow is in the middle. What this means for an engineer is a little bit more faff and a little bit more pipe work, and it can sometimes look a little bit messy. Generally, you don't pay much attention to the pipework underneath your boiler, so I wouldn't consider it too much. And then the final consideration is the fact that if you have LPG, you need to buy a different product or the conversion kit. So that Vokera can automatically sense those various gases, make an adjustment. You don't have to worry about anything. With this Alpha, you have to put specific hardware in the product for various different gases. And obviously the future of gas in the UK is a little bit sort of unsure. No one really knows what's going to go on. So having that ability with the Vokera to sense these gases and make that automatic adjustment reduces some of that long-term investment into your product. Just a quick introduction for a very important announcement. If you are in the market, you're looking to buy a boiler, you're doing lots of research, then why not consider Heatable? Head over to the website, we can give you a fixed online price, and we can fit it as soon as tomorrow. And the other thing we want to ask is if you're enjoying this video, please leave us a like. And if you love the channel, then don't forget to subscribe. And another one, said DJ Khaled.
Another one, and another one. Buy your mama a house. You a genius.
And now we've got the Worcester Bosch 1000. Now, this is a pretty rare entry for someone like Worcester. They've never really been in the budget boiler space. What they've recognized as a brand is there's a growing demand for more affordable boilers, and they've come in that market with this Worcester Bosch 1000 Combi. Now the 1000 is a boiler that's available in two power outputs. You've got the 24 kilowatt and you have the 30 kilowatt. Now the central heating power on both of these models is identical. You get 24 kilowatts of heat in both models, and that's enough to power sort of 16 radiators. Now this product only has a 6-litre expansion vessel. What that means is it's designed for smaller homes, so apartments, maybe small bungalows or small properties with fewer radiators. This is a very good match. If you've got a high radiator count or you've got a demanding home, you probably don't want a Worcester Bosch 1000. Now this product actually has a stainless steel heat exchanger. Now you would expect to have premium products with a premium manufacturer, but Worcester have a philosophy around their aluminium alloy heat exchangers. So in the 2000, the 4000 and the 8000 range, they're all these high performance aluminium alloys, but on this entry level product, they actually gave it a stainless steel heat exchanger. Now this heat exchanger is pretty basic in its design, but it's very efficient. It's actually more efficient than the other products in the video because it's 93% and they're all hovering around that 89% mark. But its modulation is pretty low, so 1 to 5. So again, that Synergy was 1 to 10. This 1000 is 50% of the modulation capability, and therefore it won't be as efficient in those lower power settings, so when your system's nice and warm. Now what you are getting when you buy a Worcester Bosch 1000 is the value of that aftercare, and really you can't really put a price on that from someone like Worcester. It's actually probably worth more than the cost of the boiler itself, because Worcester, they don't have warranties, they have guarantees. What this means is they guarantee to resolve the issue no matter the circumstance. So if your boiler has a fault, generally they're going to attend within 24 hours. They're going to guarantee to get it repaired. They're not going to quibble with you over any circumstances to do with the actual installation. So maybe the fitter didn't flush it right, maybe the pipe was loose and that was causing the boiler to do that. They'll just repair it and get it fixed. Now personally for me, if I was buying a Worcester and buying that aftercare and buying that peace of mind, I would probably upgrade the product to the 4000, because a consideration with this 1000 is that aftercare is actually only going to be there for 5 years. Now, it's going to be great service for 5 years, but after that 5-year period, you're back in the market and you're on your own. If you bought a 4000, you would have a 10-year parts and labour guarantee with Worcester. Now from a price point perspective, it's actually a really competitive price. So the 24 kilowatt model costs around £650 and the 30 kilowatt model is only about £100 more. So it's a really competitive price, especially again for that aftercare. The only considerations here are you've got a shorter warranty. You've also got reduced hot water performance. So you'll get about 9.8 litres of hot water out of that 24 kilowatt model and around 12 litres on the 30. This is lower than others in the market. Apart from that, there are no real other downsides. It's a very compact product, it's absolutely tiny, it'll fit in most cupboards, and it's very simple to install and work on. It's probably a favourite of the installers out there. So we would recommend it, but if you've got the budget for the extra sort of £200, £250, I would always buy the 4000 model just to get that extra bit of performance and have 5 years of carefree boiler ownership. Now Worcester as well employ UK people to manufacture their products. They do this in their Worcester headquarters. They employ like thousands of people. They've got a full team on the road. They've got employed engineers. So you are backing the British economy when you buy one of these 1000 products. Our next one is a GlowWorm. I don't like that prop either, but it's the closest thing we could find. Now GlowWorm are owned by Vaillant. We've got one of those coming on later in the video. So the GlowWorm brand has been around forever. Like, you know, I can remember when I first got into the boiler market, a GlowWorm was a pretty popular product. They died off a little bit, but they're making a comeback. Now they have something called a compact series. Now this compact boiler comes in 2 power outputs. So it comes in 24 kilowatt and it also comes in a 28 kilowatt. It's got a rated efficiency of around 90%, and it's got a high performance aluminium alloy heat exchanger. Now this is, and the clue is in the name, a very compact boiler. So if your product is in a cupboard or it's in a tight space, then this is a very popular choice. Now the 24 kilowatt model has a rated heating output of around 19 kilowatts. This will be enough to power sort of 12 or 13 radiators, and the 28, it improves and you can do about 15 or 16 radiators. So it is designed for smaller homes, but it's still a very powerful product. It'll give you about 10 litres of hot water on the 24 kilowatt, and it'll give you about 12 litres of hot water on the 28. So you're still going to have plenty of hot water performance, and it is still quite affordable. The price ranges from anywhere around £700 up to about £800 for that 28 kilowatt model. And you're going to get a pretty impressive warranty. So the standard, it's 5 years, but have it installed by a GlowWorm improved installer or via Heatable, and that increases to 10 years. Now this product is also made in the UK. It's made in Vaillant's factory in Derby. And what it also means is you are going to get the backing of Vaillant when it comes to that aftercare and warranty support. So you're not going to be left in the lurch if your GlowWorm decides to no longer glow. They're going to get out and get it fixed for you pretty quick. Just some considerations for this product are the fact it's only available on those 2 smaller power outputs. So if you've got a bigger property, you've got lots of radiators, or you've got quite a demanding home, then this compact unit probably isn't going to cut it, and you're going to have to look elsewhere. And the only other consideration is the fact the modulation ratio, again, is 1 in 5. So it's not as competitive as that Vokera, which had 1 in 10. And now we're on to our final budget boiler recommendation, and this is the Vaillant ecoFIT Pure. So Vaillant you probably have heard of, as you have with Worcester. They are a gigantic boiler manufacturer based in Germany, but they have a significant presence in the UK, and they actually produce products in the UK. So this boiler is handmade in their Derby facility. Now, the ecoFIT Pure is the entry-level product, but it's got a pretty wide power range. So you can buy it in a 25 kilowatt, a 30 kilowatt, and a 35 kilowatt. You don't normally get that in these eco boilers. Obviously, we get it with the Synergy, but we didn't get it with that Worcester. Now, the 25 kilowatt model will do around 20 kilowatts of central heating power. This is enough to power probably at 14 radiators, and it will do just under 10 litres of hot water per minute. When you move to the 30, that hot water performance improves to around 12 litres a minute, and the central heating rises by a couple more radiators. When you get to the 35, it's a pretty powerful product. It will do about 14.5 litres of hot water, and it will power up to sort of 20 radiators. So it is a very powerful product, that 35, but don't be fooled by sort of trying to buy a 35 if you don't need it, because you're probably just going to waste some gas, especially when you consider that modulation ratio again. It's only 1 in 5, so it's exactly the same as that Worcester. I think what Vaillant are trying to do here is protect the more premium models in their range, because they definitely have the technical ability to make it sort of 1 in 10, 1 in 12, but they're trying to drive you to those more premium products. Now, the heat exchanger in this product is aluminium alloy. The rest of the Vaillant range is stainless steel. So again, what they've done is gone for a slightly lower cost heat exchanger to make this product as affordable as possible, because Vaillant boilers are really expensive. To give you an idea, the 25 kilowatt model is probably going to cost you about £1,100, that 30 closer to £1,200, and when you get up to that 35, nearer £1,300. So these are a significant way down the road from the other products in the video, but it is their budget boiler. Now, Vaillant again are much like Worcester Bosch from a warranty and aftercare perspective. It's sort of untouchable. You know, they're going to get there in a 24-hour period. You've got a UK call centre, and you've got directly employed repair agents who are going to come. They're going to have all the parts in the van, and they're going to be able to repair that product. The reality is you're not going to have too many breakdowns with your Vaillant boiler. They are super reliable, and that warranty period as standard is 5 years. If you have the boiler installed by a Vaillant approved engineer or Heatable, you'll get a full 10-year parts and labour warranty. Now, another cool feature about the ecoFIT Pure is also the versatility of the fluing options. Very interesting, I'm sure. You're thinking right now, but what this means is it has a rear flue option. So if you've got a small cupboard, you've got a tight space and you can't have a flue on top of the boiler, there's a rear flue option, and there's also a top flue option as well. So generally, we never struggle with this product finding a suitable location or replacement application for it. So hopefully that was a useful and interesting video to help you make a decision on which budget boiler you should buy for your property. Like we said at the start of the video, you can't really go wrong with a budget boiler, and especially if you stick to those in this video. Now, if you want a price for any of these products supplied and fitted, then you can head over to the Heatable website and we'll be able to give you a fixed online quotation and install it as soon as tomorrow.